Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop. First thing I want to do before I get started is say thank you to Bill Longyard. He saw one of my videos where my tripod had broken, and he just sent this tripod to me in the mail. I just got it on Wednesday, and super heavy duty, and it's very nice. He's got a pretty good channel too. If you enjoy the metal shaping videos, he visits shops and does a lot of good filming. I'm not sure I know how to do it, but I'm going to try and put a link to his YouTube page in the description. I'll try and get it in there for you. But for now, we're back with the tripod. So we're going to get this set up, and I'm going to show you the progress I'm making on the snowblower Jeep. So again, thanks Bill, and the tripod is appreciated, and we're going to put it to use right now. Okay guys, I'm working on the undercarriage of the snowblower, and there's a lot of components to it. And originally, this is all rusted out of the original one, but originally this was made out of 3-inch channel iron. And there's your spring hanger, and I couldn't even get the frame out. I had to cut the pin off when I took this Jeep apart. But all the snow and the crud and everything just sat on that channel iron and completely disintegrated it. So I didn't want to make the replacement with channel iron because I didn't want stuff sitting on that lip. So I'm going to reset up and show you the setup that I made, and show you the improvements I made to it. And I'm just getting ready to take everything out and be sandblasted, but I'll show you while it's out of the Jeep so you get a good idea how it goes. Okay guys, what I did on this one, I made it out of rectangular tube. 1.5 by 3 rectangular tube. This is the swinging frame, and I think you can see it's got a ton of holes in it. It's rusted completely, just shot. You know, this is, they just use Schedule 40 pipe in there, and you can see there's holes in it, and the whole thing is just worn out. So on my swinging frame, it's the same 1.5 by 3 again. I made the same dimensions, and this is what's gonna swing up. This holds the bottom of the snowblower, and there's a cylinder that runs from the top to here, and that picks the snowblower up and down. So I've got the top capped off. I've got slugs in here everywhere. There's going to be a bolt going through. I've got the same curve in it. I don't know if you can see in here, but I've got grease fittings. This is going to get sandblasted, so I got it plugged up, but I got grease fittings in here. I made the spring hangers just the same as the originals. That's an original spring hanger, but it's kind of worn out, so I just made a couple new spring hangers. I got grease fittings for my pins, and there's not much of the original left here. This top piece is original, and there's a center piece that ties everything together that's original. The rest of it I had to make brand new, and it's a little dark inside, but I'm going to take you inside and show you a few features of the back of it. Okay guys, here's an original piece. Just a piece of angle. It's a little pitted, but it's still very solid. That's going to get bolted in there. It's going to hold the center together. And because I put that Dana 70 rear end in there, I had to do a little C-notch right in this area here to clear the axle housing. So that's in. In the very back, there's brackets on the drawbar which hold this up. The back of this is plugged, so nothing could get inside the tube. And like I said, in this area here, this is going to be a grease fitting. This will be a grease fitting here. And that pin will have grease all over it, and as things move around, that'll be able to flex, and no water or any kind of contaminants can get inside the tube. So the inside should be protected, and I'm going to take this apart and take it and sandblast it. You know, we don't want to paint over any hot rolled steel, so this will get sandblasted down to clean white metal, and then we'll put some epoxy primer on it. The swinging frame and the top frame have already been sandblasted, so I'll just take all this raw steel, and give it some sandblasting and a quick coat of epoxy primer, and I'll show you as it goes under the vehicle what it looks like. But hopefully you get the idea of what's going to happen. It's just going to hang on the springs and get picked up on the rear drawbar. So that's what it looks like so far, and I got some more things over on the bench that I'm working on this same vehicle, and I'll take you over there now. Okay guys, here's a pile of the snowblower Jeep parts. I've got the body, the hood, windshield frame, everything in epoxy primer. That's just kind of sitting here. I've got to get the half hard cab fit before I do any finished paint. And this is the roof system for the half cab. I think you can see how they made it. I do have some areas to fix. This is where it attaches to the windshield frame. It's a little tender in here. You can see I've got to cut some metal out of there. Same on the other side. And a little bit on the drip rails. That needs attention. So, this is the only piece of the top that I can save. The doors are in terrible shape. The rear panel, the corners, everything. I'm going to go show you what I'm working on now, but this piece I was able to sandblast and get an epoxy primer. I'm going to save this, and I'll show you how the top goes together. I'll show you where I started today making panels for it. Okay guys, this is the rear panel of the half hard top, and it was pretty mangled up. I was able to get the bow out of it and the dents out, but it's rotted pretty badly in the corner and on the bottom. And on the inside, this is where the throttle was for the Wisconsin engine that powered the snowblower. But you could see under all the seams here, it's exploding with rust under there on both sides. So they don't have much stiffening channel in here, just a little bit to keep the window from breaking. But I'm going to put a bunch of it in because I'm going to finish this panel with interior panels. I'm going to try and insulate the top, so I'll insulate it and then put some interior panels over there to dress it up and keep it a little warmer inside the cab. So I use this for a pattern, and I'll show you what I came up with so far. Okay, this is what I made for a back panel. This is 18 gauge material. And you can see I've already got some weldable primer on there. You see the windows in there. I've got the holes matched for the top. And I've got some holes in here for the floor. And what they did when they made the top was they put the side pieces, left and right side pieces with the holes in them. They would put those in there on each side. And then you could adjust that. In case the body was a little bit off, you could adjust that to come up to your wheelhouse is real nice. So this will get fit to the body, then these will get spot welded in. I have some Z braces here, and this is going to act as a stiffener, and it's also going to hold my interior panel when I'm doing the interior. So I'm going to put 3 of them. And you can see there's a weldable primer on everything. That'll go in like that. And then I've got some for here. So that's how this is going to go together. And then there'll be an interior panel down on the bottom, and then there'll be 2 small panels up on the top. So I'm just going to let this stuff dry a little bit longer, this primer. I've got it on the piece. I've got it on the back. That's ready for spot welding now. This will get spot welded, and then just get sanded and primed and ready for the corner pieces to go on. So basically I got to make a whole new half cab except for the roof. And but I got going on the back panel because I'm going to put this in first. I'm going to attach the roof to the windshield and to this back piece, and I can make any adjustments I need as I do it. So the back piece is finished except for welding, and I'll take you over and show you what the doors look like next. Okay, this is the better of the two doors, and you can see this one's pretty bad. The bottom here is completely rusted out. Along the side here, underneath where the window is, there was a piano hinge that went from here to here, and that was completely disintegrated. The top of it's a mess, and so I'm gonna have to make a new door. I think you can see that okay. They did try and finish the doors a little bit. They put this board in here to cover the regulator and stuff, but it's shot, you know, and I'll replace all this stuff. The regulator and the glass, looks like I can save that okay, but most of this frame is going to have, well, the whole skin's going to have to come off, and most of this frame is pretty rusty on the other side, so I'll change all that, put the regulator in there, and it still works okay. So I'll have to change a lot of the door out, but like I say, there wasn't really much left to this Jeep when I started, but I just want to show you guys what you can do when you start to get into a little bit of metal working. You can make just about anything you need. So I'll show you how the door gets made, and I'll show you how more of the top gets made. I just didn't get much filming done this week, but just catching you up to speed on what's been done on the snowblower Jeep, and there's more stuff happening, and I'll show you that next. Okay guys, this is where the whole snowblower holding system starts from. This bracket, which I showed you before, just hooks on the springs, and then the rails and everything get hooked onto that, and there's one on the left and the right. And on the original Jeep, the top plate of this actually wore right through the top spring. Just from riding on there, it just wore right through the metal and the spring broke. So I think I'm going to try and put some urethane or some kind of, maybe a polyurethane shim under there or something, pick that up just a little bit and have some cushion between this and the rest of the spring here. There needs to be some kind of isolation or some kind of damper between there, otherwise it's going to saw right through that spring too. But this is where everything starts from. So that'll curve right up, and it goes inside the bumper, and then the snowblower's on the outside of the bumper. And I'll show you more as it goes on. I just got to get it sandblasted and painted, and I'm going to install it. And I'll show you what that looks like when it's installed. And I'll take you in the back now and show you the two back brackets that go to the drawbar. Okay guys, here's the back brackets. They're just kind of held in here with one bolt. Attaches to the drawbar, and the back of those long rails attached to this. And on this side, these are the factory brackets. I had to move this one in just a little bit to get clearance for the shackle. And because I put this much larger Dana 70 in here, that's why I had to make the C-notch to come right under this axle, because it was way too tight. Original Dana 44 was much smaller than this. This is a huge housing. No problem on this side, because there's no housing here. It's just a tube, so it fit good. We've got a finger space under there and a finger space under here. But I did have to make that C-notch in there. I put some 3/8 plate in there to weld it back together. And I'm not worried about the strength or anything. But it's just something I had to do with the bigger axle. So probably next week I'll get everything sandblasted and painted that yellow color, and then I'll start fastening everything together. and I think it'll become clear how everything works and how the loads are transferred, and I'll show you the finished project, and then after that I'm going to pull the whole snowblower unit in here and start taking that apart. Kind of crazy to be working on a snowblower when it's 90 degrees out, but it's going to get cold again, so hopefully for the next cold season I'll be ready for the snow. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the video, and hit the like button or subscribe or tell a friend, and I'll catch you on the next video.